Hello, it's great to be together again. I hope everything is well with you.
Have you ever imagined that what you see in the mirror might not be the only version of you? What if, instead of just reflecting your image, it could show you a parallel life, a reality where you made different choices? A life where everything you ever wanted but were afraid to try is within your reach. The idea seems absurd, doesn't it? Maybe you're thinking it's just another urban legend, a mystery story to entertain the curious mind. But what if, in fact, this is possible? What if the mirror, that simple and everyday object, was actually a portal to an alternative version of your own existence? Imagine looking at the reflection of a life that could have been, with all its choices, successes, and failures. What would you do if you had the chance to live that reality? Would you accept the proposal, or would you fear the unknown? The answer may be closer than you think, hidden in something so common and simple, yet so deeply mysterious. What would happen if the mirror were more than an object, more than a simple reflection, more than you could imagine? What if it's real?
The enigma of the mirror.
Our story takes place in the city of Dallas, Texas in 1971, and our protagonist is Margaret, an ordinary woman in her 30s, living her routine without any major events up until that moment. But suddenly, something irresistibly calls her to an antiques auction. What is curious here is that she is not the type of person who frequents these places, but, like a low and distant voice whispering her name, that auction seems to have an inevitable presence for her. Have you ever felt that inexplicable feeling of attraction, as if a specific place or object was calling you? It is the kind of moment that is not understood until later, when the secrets begin to unfold. As she walks among the old objects, among furniture that carries forgotten stories and items that seem to have witnessed dark times, she sees something that makes her stop immediately. A mirror with a sturdy frame, carved in such minute details that it seems to tell its own story. This mirror is old, without a doubt, but there is something deeper there, something that goes beyond antiquity and connects to the unknown. It is the kind of object that could have come from a lost tale, a relic that may have passed through the hands of collectors of mysteries from around the world. And she, without explanation, feels that she needs to have it. Margaret does not hesitate. She finds herself bidding without even thinking, as if her will were controlled by the mirror. This impulse is unusual for her, so rational and practical in her day-to-day life. Have you ever made an impulsive decision that, deep down, seemed to have been decided by something beyond logic? What if this object was something more than just a reflection? Perhaps a window to the mysteries of the universe, to the urban legends that haunt dimensions. When she placed the mirror in her living room, Margaret does not suspect that, in addition to an object, she has brought home a fragment of an ancient story, something full of shadows and secrets. And here, the mystery begins. At night, when darkness envelops the house and the mirror reflects the environment almost in silence, something seems to call Margaret for a brief look. At first, nothing unusual seems to appear, but soon, the mirror will reveal its true purpose. What could it hold?
The first strange experience.
The first night the mirror is in her house, Margaret can hardly take her eyes off it. It is as if the object has a presence of its own, filling the room with an unfamiliar aura. In that moment of silence, she decides to approach it, and, as she does so, she feels a shiver run down her spine. As she looks at her own reflection, she notices something strange. The woman in the mirror is her, and, at the same time, she is not. Small, almost imperceptible details make her question what she is seeing. Have you ever looked at something familiar and, upon second glance, it seems completely different? That was the feeling Margaret had. As she looks at herself, her mind begins to capture the subtleties of that image. The eyes seem deeper, carrying an intensity that she does not recognize in herself. And the smile, well, it is there, but it is a smile that carries unknown stories, as if it were a reflection of decisions she never made. Imagine, for a moment, what it would be like to see a version of yourself that, in some way, has lived completely different experiences. It's like peeking through a crack that shows alternative choices, lives we've never lived. For Margaret, this feeling only grows, leaving a hint of fear that she can't ignore. Every day, Margaret spends more time in front of the mirror, trying to understand what's wrong with that image that intrigues her so much. She notices little details. The woman in the mirror's clothes are a little different. Her hairstyle has a touch she's never dared to try. Is the mirror trying to tell her something? Or is it just her mind playing tricks? It's as if she's being invited to discover an ancient secret, a mystery that may be rooted in ancient cultures that believed in the existence of parallel realities. What if this mirror is a window to these unknown dimensions? As the days go by, the feeling of discomfort only grows, as if there were a living presence behind that glass. And she begins to wonder if she's seeing a reflection of herself or of someone she could be. Little does Margaret know that this is just the tip of the iceberg. Soon, the mirror will reveal even more. Scenes that bring to light a life she has never lived, but that somehow feel incredibly real and familiar.
The discovery of a parallel life.
Margaret realizes that each new day brings something different in the mirror. They are no longer just subtle reflections. They are entire scenes, small windows into a life she has never experienced, but which seems to have deep roots. One morning, she sees the reflection of a house that is not hers, a place decorated with furniture and details she did not choose, but which somehow seem to belong to her. Imagine this for a moment. What would it be like if you looked at your reflection and saw scenes from a life you never had? The feeling of strangeness is instant and enveloping, creating a mixture of fascination and fear that gradually takes over Margaret. These visions are not just of places. In one of them, she notices a man next to her, someone she has never seen before. They are laughing together, a scene so natural that it could very well have been from any everyday life, except that she has never met that man. Who is he? And most disturbing, why does her version in the mirror seem to know him so well? Margaret begins to question the choices she has made in her life, wondering what her destiny would have been if she had chosen other paths. It is as if the mirror were a guide to an alternative reality, full of unknown stories and mysterious facts that she could never have imagined. As the days go by, Margaret's obsession grows. She feels compelled to return to the mirror, increasingly curious about what it can reveal. This fascination begins to transform into a disturbing obsession, a deep desire to understand that other life that seems so close and, at the same time, unattainable. If you have ever found yourself imagining what your life would be like if you had made different choices, you can understand a little of what Margaret feels. The desire to explore another dimension, a world of unlived possibilities. And the more she observes, the more this curiosity grows, as if the mirror were capturing her attention with a hypnotic charm. The line between the real and the unknown becomes increasingly tenuous for Margaret. She begins to wonder if all of this is really a reflection of her, or if the mirror is actually a door to another version of herself, someone who made decisions opposite to hers and lived a different life. But how far can this go? How far will the mirror take her on this path of mystery and discovery? The answer seems to be hidden, waiting for the right moment to be revealed, in a mystery that only deepens.
The dark secrets.
On a day like any other, Margaret comes across an unexpected and terrifying scene in the mirror. She sees her parallel version, with cold and calculating eyes, committing a brutal crime, taking the life of someone who, by the expression, seems to know her well. It makes her shudder. She would never have imagined herself capable of something like that, but there, before her eyes, is disturbing proof. The mirror no longer shows just a parallel life, but a dark side that she never believed she had. Imagine the impact of seeing something like that, a version of herself committing an unthinkable act. Could the mirror be a window to her own fears and regrets? Over time, Margaret finds herself increasingly questioning her own identity. The image that the mirror reflects is not just an alternative version, but a reflection of what could have been, of the choices she never had the courage to make. As if the mirror brought to light everything she kept hidden, all the rejected possibilities, the abandoned dreams. Think about the times when you made a difficult decision and wondered what your life would be like if you had chosen the opposite. Margaret sinks into these thoughts, trying to understand whether this dark reflection is part of her essence or just a representation of her deepest fears. These visions deeply disturb her, transforming her initial curiosity into an almost palpable fear. She feels that the mirror is playing with her emotions, opening wounds that she thought were healed. What was once just a decorative piece in her living room now seems to be a living, pulsating object, challenging her to face parts of herself that she would like to keep hidden. With each new view, the mirror reveals a regret, a buried memory, as if it were trying to communicate something to her. These revelations become so intense that Margaret finds herself wondering if guilt and remorse are, in fact, the driving forces behind this enigmatic object. The mirror now becomes almost an obsession. Margaret feels that, by unraveling these secrets, she will finally be able to understand a part of herself that has always eluded her. But at the same time, with each discovery, a new mystery emerges, something even darker and deeper. There is an invisible line between what she knows to be true and what the mirror shows her. And so she finds herself increasingly trapped in the enigma, as if she is approaching a final revelation, a secret as old as the mirror itself, patiently waiting to be revealed. But what else does it have to show?
Exploring the mystery.
Given what the mirror has revealed, Margaret realizes that she can no longer ignore the mystery. To find answers, she begins a tireless search, visiting antique shops, reading about urban legends, and consulting experts in ancient history. She soon discovers that the mirror may be much older than she imagined, with an origin shrouded in mystery from ancient culture, marked by reports of objects that have the power to reveal parallel lives and portals to other dimensions. Imagine an artifact that has carried, for centuries, hidden secrets of ancient religions and mysteries of the universe, just waiting for the right moment to manifest itself. Margaret begins to realize that her mirror may be exactly that. With each discovery, she delves deeper into the unknown stories surrounding the object. The idea that the mirror is a portal begins to make sense when she finds reports of cryptids and paranormal phenomena associated with ancient mirrors. In forgotten manuscripts and documents, she discovers accounts of people who have also had visions and, in some cases, mysteriously disappeared. According to some legends, this mirror was used in ancient religious rituals to connect the real world to dark dimensions. But how true are these stories? Margaret begins to question whether the mirror ended up in her hands by chance or if it was destined to find her. In search of answers, Margaret talks to occult scholars and begins to hear even more disturbing theories. Some explanations suggest that the mirror could be a reflection of the unconscious, a window to the secrets that we all hide, even from ourselves. Others believe that it has a curse, a kind of connection with the dark side of whoever possesses it, as if it were pulling the deepest fears and regrets to the surface. Have you ever imagined an object that was capable of accessing the most hidden parts of your mind and bringing to light what you have always tried to ignore? Margaret feels that she is getting closer and closer to discovering something that perhaps she should never have looked for. But the mirror no longer seems like a passive object. With each new revelation, Margaret realizes that it acts as an active presence, trying to guide her thoughts and feelings, leading her to question everything she thought she knew about herself. As she tries to put the pieces together, a new thought arises. What if the mirror not only reflects her own shadows, but is also preparing her for something even greater? Something that she cannot see clearly, but that is getting closer and closer. The mystery continues to grow, and Margaret begins to feel that she is on the verge of a discovery that could change her life forever.
The final confrontation.
After intense days, Margaret feels that she can no longer postpone the inevitable. She needs to confront the reflection that haunts her. She stands in front of the mirror and stares at her alternate image, observing every detail. There is a deep silence in the air, and for a moment it seems as if the mirror breathes with her. Then, in a movement that seems coordinated, her version in the mirror looks at her with a penetrating gaze and speaks. "I am your shadow," the figure says with disturbing calm, as if revealing a long-awaited secret. The revelation hits her hard. She is not just seeing an alternate version, she is facing the personification of everything she has avoided, of all the choices not made, and all the possibilities she has abandoned throughout her life. Margaret feels a mixture of fear and fascination. What could this shadow be? A manifestation of the secrets she has always hidden from herself? In an almost seductive tone, her version in the mirror proposes an exchange, a chance to live this parallel life, to experience the paths she has never taken. Imagine, for a second, being offered a glimpse of everything you could have been, all the destinies that have fallen by the wayside, waiting for a second chance. It is a tempting proposition, an invitation to explore a whole new world, but at the same time, she knows that any step taken in that direction could be definitive. Margaret feels that she is facing the most important decision of her life. The shadow in the mirror watches her with an almost triumphant expression, waiting for her answer. Margaret knows that a trade would mean more than a simple experience. It would be a leap into the unknown, a complete acceptance of the sides of herself that she has never accepted, of the desires and fears that she has kept deep in her soul. The choice is not just between two lives, but between confronting her deepest truths or continuing in the safe comfort of who she is today. And as the figure in the mirror stares back at her, a tension grows in the air, an almost tangible suspense, as if the mirror itself is holding its breath along with her. And as Margaret ponders, the feeling that there is no going back begins to grow. Every fiber of her being tells her that this decision will change everything, and that once she crosses the threshold, there will be no return to what she knows as reality. But does she have the courage to accept the offer and face the mysteries that await her on the other side? The answer seems so close and yet so unattainable, as if the mirror itself is testing her strength and determination. The decision lies before her, a final choice for a new life, or for an unknown destiny that waits, silent, in the world reflected.
The dilemma of choice.
Margaret sees herself in front of the mirror, her heart racing, and a mixture of fear and desire invading her mind. The proposal of her alternative version echoes in her thoughts, offering her the chance to experience the life she has never lived, the loves, the mistakes, and the secrets that only that reflection knows. She feels the weight of every decision she has made up until then, every path she has not followed, as if she finally had the chance to live what she had always imagined but never dared to do. And then, the dilemma arises. Is it worth risking everything to explore the unknown? This choice seems simple, but it hides profound implications, and Margaret feels that she is on the border between the real and the unattainable. Doubt consumes her. After all, how could she know what she would gain or lose with this exchange? She begins to wonder what this new life would taste like, the mysteries she would have to face. Would she find happiness in this unknown dimension, or would she be exchanging her reality for an even darker destiny? Margaret remembers old stories, urban legends about people who desired too much and were swallowed up by their own desire. This thought sends shivers down her spine. What if this was all a trap? The figure in the mirror keeps its gaze fixed on her, waiting for her answer, as if it knew exactly how heavy the decision was. Approaches the mirror, feeling the tension in the air. Her fingers almost touch the cold surface, where the reflection still smiles at her enigmatically, promising something she can't even clearly define. In that moment, she sees not only a parallel life, but all the aspects of what she rejected: regrets, secret desires, and forgotten dreams. This offer, this possibility of exchange, is a call to confront the darkest and most hidden parts of her soul. If she accepts, she will have to deal with everything she has avoided until now. Is she really ready to face the unknown? As Margaret hesitates, she realizes that no matter what choice she makes, she will never be the same. Even if she chooses to stay, the experience with the mirror has already changed the way she sees life. The final decision seems inevitable, but what comes next is an even greater mystery, something that the mirror itself may be saving for the right moment. She approaches slowly, her hand ready to cross the barrier that separates the two worlds. And as she prepares to cross that line, the mirror watches her silently, as if waiting for the last step to reveal what it truly means to live a new life, or should we say, a new secret. Now, I'll ask you a question that will keep you thinking for a long time. What if all of this were real? What if that mirror you look into every day was actually a portal to another version of your life? Imagine what you could discover about yourself, about the choices you made and the ones you didn't make. Would you have the courage to cross that threshold and see what's on the other side? Let this doubt haunt your mind and think carefully. The reality you know may not be the only one. If you liked this story, be sure to subscribe to the channel, like it, and turn on notifications. And remember, who knows, the mirror of your parallel reality may be closer than you think. But think with me, what if it's real? Thank you, and see you soon.